Greetings friends, and a very warm welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how you can create your own narrow strips of rather thin sheet metal down to about 16 gauge. You can create your own strips of sheet metal, any amount of it that you want for whatever project you're doing. In this case I was doing a miniature live steam locomotive, and I needed some roughly 1/4 inch wide bar stock, brass bar stock, and I didn't want to buy it. It's rather expensive commercially, as you know if you're into this trade. So what I did is I just used good old brass kick plate from Doors. I buy this when I can at the local scrap yard. It's rather inexpensive in comparison to anything that is commercial available in a certain width. So I want to show you today how you can accomplish this on your bandsaw. Before we proceed, as you know, I must obviously say something about machine shop safety. We all know that it can be very dangerous in a machine shop. There's certain protocol around each machine that you might be having to deal with that you need to be aware of. If you don't know what the protocol is around a bandsaw, please take time to go online or find a good book at the library or whatever and educate yourself very well about the safety issues related to these vertical bandsaws. These vertical bandsaws can be very dangerous. You can cut off a finger. You can have all kinds of trouble. So the first thing I would suggest to be reminded of, I remind myself of this often, that anytime I'm cutting something on a bandsaw, I always try to use push blocks, at least at the end of the cut. When you get close to the end, you can use the push block to push that material on through the blade and not have your fingers anywhere near that blade. That's one of the main things as far as your hands and your fingers with the bandsaw, but also be sure to wear eye protection. So anyway, let's get into this. So I needed these strips. I didn't want to buy the commercial stuff. It's just too expensive. So what I did is I took a look at the throat plate. And you can see here, the throat plate on a bandsaw is usually round. It's a certain thickness to be so that when it drops in, it matches the table. There's no need to change this throat plate to do this kind of operation, to cut thin strips of sheet metal or brass in my case. What I did is I wanted to eliminate the problem of this throat plate. As you know, the throat plates have a wide kerf and they get wider and they get gouged out from different sizes of blades. So you want to eliminate the problem of the throat plate. So what I did is I put a guide bar on the table, something like this, clamped it down, and then I took another piece of stock of a width I wanted to use as a surface plate, and then I fed that bar into a certain depth, whatever I wanted. I cut on into whatever depth I wanted. Actually, I went further than this, as you can see, but that's before it was mounted to a T-bar. So once that's done, then you can take and set up this bar with tapped holes. You can drill and tap holes here if you have a milling machine. That's the way I did it. I used a milling machine. Drilled and tapped these holes on 3-inch centers, and then on 3-inch centers on the T-bar underneath. This is just an old bed rail. I'm cheap, so you know I try to do stuff cheap. So but the T-bar, I just drilled a hole a little bit oversized for 1/4-inch bolts. So then I was able to go ahead and put this back in against the fence. The fence was taken off, and then this T-bar can adjust. You just adjust that so that you are centered on the kerf. you can see that you can adjust it slightly a little bit there. You can see that adjustment because the kerf is always just slightly wider than the blade just because of the way they work. But in order to use this, it's very simple. You just take a good old C-clamp and put it on the front of the table here and clamp that down solid. And you've already got a surface. You've got a way to eliminate the problem of the throat plate, the excess width in the throat plate. Now the width is only the width of the blade plus what little tiny bit of clearance there is because of the way the teeth work. Then you need a way to make sure that you can cut the width you want. That's easily done by drilling and tapping the main bar here, drilling and tapping it. I set up and drilled and tapped 2 holes here and 2 holes back here. That's, in my case, about 10 inches apart. And they're about a 1/2 inch, each set of holes are about a 1/2 inch in center to center. And then I took the top bar and drilled it and milled it. I milled slots in it to match so that I could go anywhere from just under a 1/4 inch width up to about 1 inch. So that allowed me then to have a very tight kerf here and a nice guide set up here so I could saw these off, so I could get these narrow strips that I wanted. One clue I'd offer for you in case you're not aware of it, often these narrow strips will tend to curl as they go out the back side. If you're getting that action, one thing you might want to consider doing is if you have the stock you're using set up on one side, just flip it over and try that. A lot of times that eliminates some of the tension and puts the stress in a different way, and so that it comes out flatter. That's exactly what happened in my case. These strips wound up being very flat by doing that in my case. But this is really a great way for you to be able to accomplish a mission of using scrap material to make any width stock you want for whatever project. And this is so simple. Once this is set up here, it's just clamped on and then clamped back and unclamped to take it off. Very simple, very easy way to do it. So hopefully this video can be helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you also for sharing with your friends who might be interested in this type of a video.